Hello, Frog fans. Welcome to Postgame Beers podcast. We are the Lupton Drinking Club, brought to you by our good friends at Hell's Half Acre. We'll talk about them a little bit later on. We love you guys. Steven, appreciate you all you do for us. Thanks for listening. If you're live with us tonight, please chime in on those comments. We're going to read them as long as they're good or they're funny or they're interesting.
Or they really don't even have to be. We'll read them anyway.
But if they suck, we may not read them. We'll see. We'll see. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We're trying to build up the YouTube channel at Lupton Beers, at Lupton Drinking Club on all our social medias. Tonight, I am Kyle Malloy at YellMK on Twitter. We've got our master of activities, a lot of activities going on right now. Jacob
Hell yeah, there
Sailors
is.
At JD Sailors. We have our producer, Crazy Ray Cartwright. He's we're looking at him right behind the new batter's eye. Actually, I don't see the batter's eye. I just see the big board.
Left of my.
What the hell is going on with Ray?
I think he's talking gibberish. He's talking gibberish, and we're gonna let him figure that out.
Yeah, I guess we're a little rusty. Ray, do you copy?
I hear y'all loud and clear. I mean,
okay.
Y'all are sounding good.
Well, we got you now. That's good.
All right. We have our Sultan of Stat, our Sultan of Barbecue, Martin Guerrero, and lastly, of course,
Burnt barbecue.
Our horse. We have our horse, Garrett Evans. Guys, we've got a full crew in tonight. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. We might talk about football, but we'll see. I'm not that interested in that.
We have to talk about football.
Well, okay, I guess that's required per our
TCU plays Texas in a game that will happen Saturday around 6:30. All right, on to other things.
Wasn't aware of that, but it's required per ownership, so we will discuss that. We have some frog ball to discuss as well. We have some frog basketball, some hoops. And fellas, it's been a while. It's good to see y'all, and glad to be here tonight.
Yeah, I hope our listeners will excuse our absence while we cheer on the world champion Texas Rangers.
First place Texas Rangers.
I, for one, not being from Texas myself, but obviously cheering for the Rangers down here with my son.
Hey, but you got here as fast as you could, didn't you?
You're right. I want to congratulate you four on being world champions. I hope you get your ring soon. It was very fun for me to. I've now lived in Texas longer than I lived in Kansas City, so that's kind of fun. And it was great for me to spend each game with my son, watching them and telling him about the World Series, trying to help him remember, what it was like in 2015 when I woke him up as a, I don't know, what was that, 4 or 5 year old, watching the Royals, but he didn't remember that, so we had a blast watching the Rangers. He's now a Rangers fan. And I thought about you guys a lot because you guys are the biggest fans that I know. So congratulations. Hope you enjoyed your last couple weeks.
Yeah, I got to take in game. I want to hear quickly what y'all's Game 5 experience was. I got to watch it with my family, at least my mom and dad and my middle brother. My younger brother wasn't able to make it due to children obligations. But, yeah, dude, that was like probably the coolest sports moment of my life. I was with some friends when the Mavs won in 2011, but being with my family and, first person I hug is my dad, who originally got me into baseball, and then my mom and my brother, and just – dude, you can't even describe the elation of that final out, like that strike 3 call. And I think having it end on a called strike 3, there's like that moment of, it's a strike and you're just waiting on the umpire to let you celebrate. Like that split second of anticipation was really cool. And dude, I'm still celebrating. I spend a good majority of my day watching any YouTube video I can get my hands on, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like, what was y'all's kind of experience?
Dude, I'm right there with you, dude. I like how Tom Grieve put it. He's like, how did you feel after the last out? And he said something on the lines of, it was a sense of relief and pride.
Yeah.
And I think that hits it on the head. Just the relief washing over you. 2011, it can't hurt me anymore. It felt so good, man. I watched it with the wife and kid. And I thought I was going to be jump around the room guy. Like I was prepared to be jump around the room guy. That was what I thought was going to happen. And I ended up being like, just kind of sit on the floor and put my heads in my hands quietly guy.
It's like
it
frozen
awesome.
in shock.
Yeah. So we did that. And then we popped a bottle of champagne here at the house, and just a magical moment, man.
That's great. What about you two?
I watched the game by myself in my apartment, El Solo, firing off. I was taking all kinds of heat on Twitter for counting out the last 2 innings, but it worked.
But I feel like that's kind of my fault because like a year ago, you remember like a year ago, I think it was a TCU game, and I texted you, "Oh, there's only these many outs," and you were texting me back, "Stop counting outs." And then you're like, I'm gonna count outs now,
man. There's
the entire postseason run of your first place Texas Rangers, every out 26, 25, 24, all the way down, every game.
Yeah.
Dude, there was no jinx. There was no jinx possible that was going to stop this team. I remember back in 2011 when Dirk and the Mavs beat the Heat. There was that game 6. I had this feeling all day of it's not a matter of if we're going to win. It's what we're going to do when we win. And I had that same feeling going into game 5 with the Rangers. Like, we're pretty much just planning a party because losing that game was simply not an option.
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of anticlimactic. Like the whole playoffs was all about beating the Astros in 7. Like that was the peak. Everything else was so easy. It was never. I never felt like we'd lose a game.
I don't think it was anticlimactic simply for the fact that getting to the
and lost.
Well, getting to the World Series was so hard.
Well, even game 5, I mean, that was a hell of a ball game all the way through. That start that Zach had was incredible, and it's so wild to watch Uvalde just freaking weasel his way out of trouble inning after inning after inning.
There was no way on earth Uvalde was going to lose that game. There's just no way.
He was just willing those bats to finally come to life. That was just insane to watch, man.
It was like two sides to a coin. On offense, the Rangers were getting no hit, through those first 5 innings. And then for Arizona, they were getting guys on third, less than 2 outs, and just not being able to bring anybody in. And usually I watch the games by myself, and I'll count outs with Ray, we'll just text back and forth. But a couple friends came over unannounced. Nice. Yeah.
Those are good friends.
Yeah. And they're calling me, and I'm like, dude, I'm on the toilet. Like, just come in. I don't even lock my door. And so they don't really watch baseball. So they're like,
they wanted some barbecue.
Yeah. So they're like, I actually did have ribs on the grill. But they're like, what's happening? What does this mean? What's going on? And I'm just like, they're like, what does it mean to be no hit? And I'm like,
did you bring over friends or girlfriends?
Yeah, really?
Yeah. I mean, that's how you are at the TCU baseball games.
Now, we all know that that's not true.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. So anyways, yeah, they're like, so what does it mean? Because every time I'd get up, go to the fridge, get a beer, come back, they're like, oh man, they got somebody on third. Oh man, they didn't score. And I'm like, that's huge. And then they're like, but we can't even get a hit. And I'm like, okay, but who would you rather be right now? The team that's up 3-1 and is matching you 0 for 0, even though you can't get a hit?
Yeah. Damon says beating the Astros was like beating Goro in the original Mortal Kombat. Shang Tsung might have been the final boss, but Goro was the tougher boss and the true final boss. Like, beating the Astros, it was like, there's no way we're not winning a World Series now.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes, similar to 2010 whenever the Rangers went through the Yankees to get to the World Series. because it struggled with the Yankees forever leading
Yeah,
up.
except the Giants were actually favored in that World Series. So
The Giants were really good. I mean, that was a dynasty
yeah,
led by Bruce Bochy.
I'm just speaking strictly ALCS and vanquishing demons.
So that's a team having great success. Now we got to talk about the team not having so much success. MK, where do you want to start with TCU football?
We'll start with women's soccer. What happened, Ray?
Stop avoiding football.
Do bump for our ladies.
You got 30 seconds.
They didn't make the tournament. Next,
They didn't make the tournament.
No,
didn't make the tournament. First time in 7 years.
Why should they have?
They shouldn't have, really, to be honest. They didn't have really quality wins. They had a quality draw. But what really did them in, they were good up until the Houston game when they allowed Houston to come back and draw them 2-2. And then the UCF was the nail in the coffin for them.
Well,
tough season. You hate to see it for people like Gracie Bryan, who's TCU's all-time assist leader, and Lauren Kellett, TCU's shutout leader, clean sheets leader for goal. You hate to see it for those two, but, hey, rally and rebound next year.
One thing I love about TCU soccer is the attendance keeps getting better every year. And so I love the fact that TCU fandom shows out for those guys and supports them.
Hack the Garvey.
Absolutely. But yeah, we have to get to football, unfortunately. And we can talk about the NFL all day if you guys want to, but I think we're here
You
to
want a
talk
women's
about
basketball update?
Oh my God, no!
Talk about
Stop.
how Darius Davis is the man. How about that guy, gentlemen?
He's a good dude. Huge is not being used as well as he should be. But Frogs lose in Lubbock last Thursday night. Jacob, you were there in attendance, and so I want to hear about your experience.
Yeah, sure thing. So I try to go to Lubbock as much as I can. I have a lot of family up there, so that's really the reason I go up there. But it's also cool to see TCU play on the road, especially since, at least with football, we typically win up there. We didn't this time, but coming one day after the World Series, I wasn't all that bummed about it. I had a few takeaways from the experience up there. Tech hasn't had really a great season either, so I was curious to see what the support would be like. And maybe it was just where we tailgated, but dude, there was no tailgating activity going on. And it kind of sucked because my dad and my brother were tailgating. Like they don't really follow college football. My brother's never tailgated in his life, and he was kind of making fun of it. He took a picture of like the perfect angle of an empty parking lot, and he said, "Man, I love tailgating."
So do you tailgate at TCU? How often do you tailgate at TCU? Let's
every game, unless I get a flat tire on the way.
All right. So you know what tailgating is?
That's my dad. I took him to the 2017 Texas game, and that was his first tailgating experience. And he was bragging to my uncle and my cousin and my brother and about how great that was. He's like, man, we just walked through parking lot after parking lot of full, tents and everything going on. And so I guess my dad was a little underwhelmed at the scene in Lubbock, but it might've been just the area we were in too. But
was it a Thursday night deal or just maybe
it could have been some of that. It could have been the fact that, they're not having a good season, and, they had such high expectations going in for some reason into the season. And, I think we went into that game with the same record as them, and we know how we feel about our season. So, so 2 years ago when we last went, Ray and Martin, you were there with me, I think. Martin, were you there, or was it just Ray? I don't remember now.
I was there.
We saw Coolio.
Exactly. That's where I was going. Tech does this like washed up rapper tour. And I don't know if it's just when we play TCU or if it's just a coincidence, but yeah, we saw Coolio. And this year we saw Mike Jones and Young Thug.
Hell yeah.
Mike Jones.
Who?
Mike Jones. Can you not hear me?
I'm sorry, Jacob, you're breaking up. Who?
Mike Jones. Mike Jones. That's enough.
This is great podcast audio. I'm just saying.
That was a quality. That's quality, baby.
I guess that was cool. I didn't really follow much Young Thug back in the day, but I did listen to some Mike Jones in like high school, which was almost 20 years ago. So there's that. So we got into the stadium, and the crowd, I think in a vacuum, it was all right. But for a night game in Lubbock, I thought it was pretty mild, pretty underwhelming. It was reasonably full, but it just seemed like the crowd was nervous. Like, oh, I don't want to get excited because I'll get my hopes up and we'll inevitably lose. So it was pretty mild. I was pretty annoyed by the Frogs' performance for the most part. It's just the same crap we've been seeing all year, outgaining teams on offense, but not scoring. And, when we took the lead there in the third quarter, it really didn't feel like we were winning. And, God, it was just so frustrating, I guess. I was just kind of locked into the game itself and not really paying attention too much to the surroundings. But I will say when Hoover threw that last interception, I had some Tech fans that I had not interacted with or even seen through the whole game come up, shake my hand and say, great game. That was a lot of fun. We're so relieved to finally beat you guys.
God,
so I want to hear you got pelted with batteries.
That's worse because it's like pity, man.
I've gone to so many. Exactly. I've gone to. I mean, I think it was genuine. Like they were just like relieved to finally beat us.
I think I'd rather have some people just give me the bird on the way out.
Yeah, honestly, in the moment, I entertained it, but I was internally annoyed.
But you on the head and said, "Good job, little buddy. Maybe you'll get us next year."
Yeah, I really didn't get that sense, but all in all, it was a fun trip. I like going up there and being with my family, and it's a lot more fun when we win. But yeah, I mean, I've never had a bad experience going to Lubbock. They have this reputation of being so, like this bad crowd or whatever, but I've never experienced that.
You're pretty shit to the baseball parents last.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm not saying it's not true. I just personally haven't experienced it.
So I say, fuck them.
So yeah.
Fortunately, Ray's cutting out, so we can't hear those F-bombs that he's dropping. That was actually perfect. It's more like a Buckham, like go Bucks, Milwaukee.
So I don't know how much in detail you want to get into the game, but
there's not much to get into.
Well,
the defense doesn't work. It's broken.
And statistically, it performs well. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I was seeing like we're the number one defense in conference play.
No way.
If the game
I saw that stat today.
If the game was played between the 30s, would TCU be the number one team in the country?
See, and I have this note that said TCU does everything well except score points, but the unfortunate truth with football is scoring points is what matters most. Like if it was just
if
like
only we didn't have to score points. If only points weren't something that mattered.
Like it's another loss.
Didn't matter.
It's another loss where we outgained our opponent.
That's the most infuriating part to me. Well, no, the most infuriating part to me is the defense. So I'm going to want to look at that. It makes me so mad.
Why?
And everyone, it's beating a dead horse. I don't like the 3-3-5. I don't think we have the personnel to make it work. I know I'm not sitting here saying change your scheme in the middle of the season, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. And I don't like it. I don't like that. Was it 3rd and 21, right? That is just steered into my brain from the Tech game.
They didn't pick it up. They didn't pick up the first down. They stopped them.
That's just. Hey, you know what, Ray? You're right. Let's just stop.
Now, 4th down. That's an entirely different story.
But no, I don't know. I just walked. I was riding my Rangers high going into that game. And I just started to get more and more frustrated. And then I just kind of got the sports stats and gave up because they make me so mad this year. But that's just not to say that I'm not fired up to beat Texas because we're absolutely going to beat Texas this weekend.
Yeah, we'll talk about that for sure. But I I don't know, man. The thing is, you don't like the 3-3-5 when your offense is, kind of a speed offense that can go 3 and out really easily. Like it's not. The offense and defense aren't complementary.
No,
I
they're
think
not.
if you look
You're
at
right.
the defense by itself, the defense is fine. And aside from red zone issues, the offense is fine. But together, they don't complement each other.
Well, yeah, you can't run this bend but don't break defense that you're trying to run whenever they walk to the sideline, get one squirt of water, and then they're being rolled back out on the field because they're off inside the ball for 27 seconds total.
And even when they have a good drive, it can still go by in 27 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why we have to equate good offense with going at the speed of sound. I think it's okay if we slow the F down every now and then.
Does it really put the defense in such a disadvantage that, it's a net gain?
Given how we performed, I would say no.
All right, but let me ask you this. If we were able to convert in the red zone, say 50% better, or even not that high, 20, if we scored, I don't know,
10%.
10 more points a game.
Yeah, 10% better. Sure. Yeah.
Then we only have one loss right now.
Would you still be that upset with the defense?
Well, we go back and look at how many points we've allowed, but more than likely.
And I think you
still
can
giving
throw
up boatloads of points.
Special teams in there too is not complimenting the offense at all. It's
what
tough
part of special teams, Ray?
Punt returning, because I am sick and tired of watching a TCU punt returner either watch the ball bounce 15 yards down the field or catch it falling backwards doing somersaults.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't really foresee replacing Darius Davis as this insurmountable task.
No, I don't think any of us saw that. That's surprising, to say the least.
I'm sure the coaches are really disappointed with that too. But Garrett, let's go back to the defense for a second. I'm going to read you the point totals in Big 12 play. 13, 24, 27, 11, 41, bad, and 35.
Yep.
You should be able to win most of those games.
Big 12 should, if you score 28 points, you're going to win a lot of games.
So let's throw some of those numbers out though, and let's go with Big 12 teams that were not G5 last year.
Yeah.
So in that case, you see 24, 27, 41, 35.
Still not.
I think you should win 3 of those games.
Yeah, if your offense is clicking the way it's supposed to, absolutely. I would agree with you on that. I'm not saying the offense is not at fault. I've just found myself recently being more frustrated with the defense. That's probably a recency bias from these last 2 games. They look like dog water, but you're absolutely right. As taken as a whole, from a 1,000-foot view, you're absolutely right. We should the offense needs to they need to turn these quality drives into points, man. That's what we're missing.
Yeah. We didn't talk about the Kansas State game, and good reason. I mean, they went up there and they just completely got their ass kicked.
Well, it's funny because they've never played Kansas State, so there's no reason to talk about that.
Well, I mean, essentially not, because you had Kansas State players saying that TCU gave up in the first quarter.
Yeah, I heard it was just a comedy show up there. Man, 2-drink minimum.
So I saw a quote today from Sonny Dykes. I guess it was a press conference on Monday or something. But he was basically talking about if we just didn't turn the ball over as much, we'd be fine. Do any fans actually believe that?
I'm a little frustrated with
if we don't turn the ball over against Tech, we win that game. If we don't turn the ball over against Colorado, we win the game.
But there's been too many murmurs about crap going on in the locker room and guys not taking things seriously. And do you think Cooper Beebe was just making that up about guys out there just laughing on the field?
No, but at the same time, I don't think he made it up. But I also don't think it's indicative of a unit-wide problem, right? Of that whole side of the ball being disengaged. But I absolutely would not be surprised if that happens in a vacuum. I don't know. It's super frustrating for sure, but maybe I'm putting on my purple colored glasses. I wouldn't think that type of attitude is something that's prevalent throughout the room. But certainly there's got to be a couple of guys that are maybe handling losses that way. And that's unfortunate from a TCU team that you would want to see more resilience out of.
Yeah.
You overtake
especially in the face of adversity.
You ever do like professional classes on emotional intelligence?
No, sorry, enlighten me.
It's more about understanding, not only who you are, but who other people are, right? It's about interacting with other people and, having an understanding of like, hey, here's my flaws and here's what I do well, but also here's what you do wrong, right? It's a self-understanding. And I feel like every time Sonny gets on the mic, he talks about things that are very obvious, like, oh, no way, you had a bad week of practice. But there's no self-reflection of like, these are the things that we're doing wrong, and I'm gonna state that out loud and say, here's what we're gonna fix. And I trust that these things are getting done behind closed doors, right? I'm not in this coach's room. I'm not, we're not there to understand exactly what they're discussing to fix, but some of the statements that he makes post game and on their Tuesday conferences, it's very frustrating because it's
MK, I gotta pause you, man. We got an echo issue going on. Just real quick, everybody go on mute. MK, go back to talking.
How are we doing?
Okay, there's no echo now, so it's got to be one of us.
Is it to me?
I don't hear anything now. Ray?
Hell yeah.
I was muted the entire time.
Martin? Martin, talk.
Okay.
Barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce.
I don't know.
Oh, my baby.
Still kind of hear it.
Well,
Hey,
Echo-
when are we going to get a
Echo-
barbecue
power-
off
power
between
through the
Martin and MK?
Oh,
It would be less of a barbecue off and more of a like two masters, just hanging out,
I think
swapping stories, and then you guys would be like,
Shit.
what are they even doing?
I want to kiss you. You're so good.
Martin,
But
that looks
MK,
burnt.
To kind of jump off what you were saying about Sonny, maybe, I don't know, to be devil's advocate, maybe that's how he feels his role as he's kind of billed as the CEO coach, right? Air quotes, CEO coach is supposed to handle that situation. But like you said, if Sony's going to be the CEO coach, if that's how he's going to approach these press conferences and it's going to be handled in-house, I would like to think that we're at a time now in this season. We've reached a point where you've got to leave like the executive office and handle your business yourself. And if that means, I'm not advocating people's jobs or anything like that, but if that means like making your own tough decisions, I want to see Coach Dykes kind of be that CEO and make those decisions for himself.
Yeah, I think the point was, I want those words to be important when he's talking about it, and I don't want it to be shallow. And when I say that, Dave Aranda is another guy that Baylor fans are furious about because he gets up on the stage and says, "Wow, tough game. We're going to have to evaluate some things and figure some stuff out, but they keep sucking," right? And I don't want that to turn into what we're doing here, in Fort Worth.
You don't want like the politicians speak.
Exactly.
Like, it's a press conference.
And as crazy as Gary was, like, I mean, at least he would like give it back, and like you hear something and be like, what the hell? Like he's talking from his gut. Like, he's being honest. And I've always felt like Sonny has done a good job in the past about being open and honest with media coverage and stuff. But the last, couple weeks have kind of been like, man, I just want more from you and kind of what you guys are doing behind the scenes, because right now it doesn't feel like you're doing anything and nothing's changing. And we're doing the same thing over and over.
To be honest, he didn't have to face really any adversity last year, right? I mean, they rolled all the way till the Big 12.
Zero. What adversity? Big 12 championship? That was an amazing game.
Hey, Sonny, talk about this amazing comeback y'all just had again.
Y'all don't think TCU faced any adversity last year?
No, Sonny didn't face any adversity.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, he never had to go to the podium and answer tough questions last year.
Yeah, you're right.
At any point, the staff never had to be accountable to any results that were unfavorable to them last season.
Yeah, he wasn't answering questions. Why wasn't the team out there singing the alma mater after a loss?
Gosh, yeah, exactly. Hey, why is this random K-State player talking about dudes laughing on the field? Crap like that.
Question for you guys watching on TV: how did the offensive line look against Tech? I know they don't really have much of a pass rush, but I didn't really notice it in the game. Like, damn, we can't protect the quarterback.
I thought the offensive line was fine. I mean, there was a moment you can have TCU's driving. Freaking Chase Hoover. Hoover has like 10 seconds to throw the ball. Like, he's just standing still for 3-4 seconds, and the receiver couldn't break open. No one's breaking back. No one's trying to break off from a route. I just don't get it. That was frustrating.
It's like they can't get their entire offense playing well at the same time.
Well, say Amani was held to 60 yards? Something like that, right? 50 yards? It wasn't good. I'll look that up.
Yeah, it's annoying. But
yeah, 57 yards, 19 carries. He averaged 3 yards a carry.
Okay, can I ask you all a question?
Yeah, sure.
So since the game, that was over on Thursday. Thank God we had a free Saturday to enjoy, watching other games. How do y'all feel about the rest of the season? We have Texas, Baylor, Oklahoma. You've got to win 2 of those to get to a bowl game.
Well,
I mean,
I want to add on to that, because I wanted to open this conversation with something I just saw on Twitter, and I don't remember who it was that tweeted it, but they were saying we need to ruin Texas's season. And then somebody else quote tweeted it and said, we need to save our own season. And so it got me thinking, is there any saving this season? So just to go back off of how you let it up, MK, but is there any way to save this season? Like,
yeah, make a bowl game.
Does that save this season? Was anybody thinking, man, as long as we make a bowl game, this season is a success?
I agree, Martin, with your sentiment. If we make a bowl game, that means we beat either Texas or Oklahoma, and I think that fans would be okay with that.
What if we beat Texas and Oklahoma but lost to Baylor?
I would be fine with that.
Dude, okay, so the last time we talked, we said this is now a beat your rival season. Mm-hmm. Well, we just lost to Tech.
I want to beat the shit out of the 2 teams that are leaving our conference. I would
say the F word, MK. Say you're leaning back into that F.
The fart. I said the fart. Okay, it's.
I'm not sure I'd be okay losing to Baylor, man.
No, F.
But if we beat Oklahoma and Texas, if you right now,
I'd be rolling my eyes going into the bowl game. I don't want to. I know, as fun as that would be to beat OU and Texas, losing to Tech and Baylor to be 6-6. I can't really say that's saving the season.
you're not saving your season at that point. You're saving. It's not a season that you'd be saving. Maybe you're saving. I don't want to say jobs, but you're maybe earning back some goodwill that you've burned. You're maybe getting some more confidence back in the room with some of these guys who are coming back. Insofar as season-ending results, no. Like at this point, it's gonna be pretty shitty regardless. But I'm not going to sit here and say it wouldn't feel effing incredible to go beat Texas this weekend. But
no doubt,
from here on out, no matter what happens, the season's been bad. There's no recovering from that. But
I do think if you're able to win 4 games in a row, with those games being against Texas, Baylor, Oklahoma, and then maybe like a lower tier SEC team in a bowl game, I would feel pretty damn good going into next year.
We're sugarcoating the hell out of the season. I mean, do you think we're going to win more than 1 game the rest of the season?
I'm just saying it's in the scope of possibility, right?
It's not out of the question.
We're not assigning likelihood percentages. We're just saying like it's in the range of outcomes. You can go 0-4, 4-0.
Okay,
or
Jacob,
3-0,
you love win percentages. What's our win percentage over to win the next 4 games in a row?
Probably really low, but it's not to say it's 0%. It's higher than 0.
2.5.
Dude, okay, if you want to go back to the beginning of the season, like winning 6 games was like a 10% possibility. Like 7 was almost guaranteed.
What's winning that game?
I mean, even lower than that. So I don't think win probability really even matters to this team. At this point, I'm looking back saying, how the hell did we beat SMU?
Yeah, at this point, no. At this point, just take care of business against these dang UT Longhorns. That's all I want to do.
Like my outlook on this team is still the same as it was before the Tech game, and that's they're talented enough to beat anybody, but weird enough to lose to anybody. So anywhere from 4-0 to 0-3 is within the scope of possibility.
What a fun ride we're set up for then.
I mean, all right, let's say, you guys feel good about going into Texas, right? For whatever reason. I mean,
I get that weird.
Do you?
I get that. I kind of do, man.
I kind of do too.
I feel just based off history, I feel weirdly good. This is the kind of shit TCU pulls.
Yes. Even in our worst years. In our worst years, we've beaten good Texas teams.
We've never faced a team this good. A Texas team this good.
But it's not the same Texas team if they don't have Quinn Ewers.
He might be back.
I don't think he will be. I don't think he's ready.
At least the refs will cheat and we win.
That too. and I wanted to talk about that too, but just to finish this point. Just to finish this point though, if you beat Texas, you got to think you're going to beat Baylor at home, and then OU is not the same OU we thought they were after they beat Texas.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true.
Even if you got to go to Norman.
So maybe we do it. We get through Texas this weekend, and we just keep on rolling, baby, straight into the Liberty Bowl.
But do you disagree that they're talented enough to beat anybody, but weird enough to lose to anyone?
I do not. I do not disagree with that sentiment or statement.
Comment from the gallery.
Yep.
Ray, you're breaking up really bad.
Pretty bad. Man, pretty bad, Ray.
My connection's pretty bad tonight. I'm sorry.
Just put it on the screen. We'll read it.
No, this is through Twitter.
Okay.
Our very own.
I can't hear Ray. I'll find it.
Oh, does anyone know if Chandler Morris is coming back?
Hold on. Matt Perk said all of this is Pete Hughes' fault. he is not back down. He's sitting here in the offseason still angry at Pete Hughes.
I'm not sure if I've ever hated somebody more than Matt Perk hates Pete Hughes.
Man, that's a good question. Art Briles.
Okay, scratch that. Take back.
All right, so I think that puts a bow on that on the list. So going around, I want to talk about what's going on around the Big 12, and I want to start with, are the refs cheating against OU and Texas?
Please.
No.
Dude, everybody knows the world is out to get University of Texas.
It's the opposite. It's the opposite this year.
All right, so I saw this stat. I wish I had it in front of me, and that's about the fourth time I've said it tonight, so blame me. But so Texas has like 2 All-American defensive tackles, and they've been called offensive line against those defensive tackles been called for like 2 holding calls all year. So when I'm at the game this Saturday, I'm going to be screaming, hold every play. Dare them to call holding. Pass interference. There's been like no pass interferences against Texas wide receivers.
0?
I mean, very little. Like the same amount of holds against their defensive tackles. Like
just in the OU game.
How do we get the student section to
the Alabama game,
which at the same time?
Or there was another game done by SEC refs where they got one. But in Big 12 with Big 12 refs, they're not getting any calls. That's a statement of fact. They're not getting any calls.
Good.
Yeah. See, I'm on the side. Good. I think so. I heard on the ticket today they were addressing this, and one of the hosts, Bob Stern, was talking about, yes, the refs are biased against OU and Texas. You've been acting like you're better than everybody in the conference the whole time you've been in it, and now you're thumbing your nose at the conference saying you're too good to be in this conference. And there's human beings that are in charge of these calls who either consciously or subconsciously are making the game unfair to you, and they're laughing about it.
And don't forget, when Texas and OU left, they put the conference at risk.
Yeah.
To, disband like the Pac-12 is doing. Those refs would have lost their jobs. Yeah. They'd probably have to move to another conference.
Which means possibly moving out of where they live.
Yeah.
I don't know. You see shitty officiating everywhere. Look at the World Series. Look at some of those balls and strikes calls. Do you think that was rigged out to get?
I'm not saying it's Texas? I'm not saying it's even a systemic mission from the Big 12 headquarters to screw OU in Texas. I think it's just human beings having human nature.
It's not the 06 NBA Finals,
Yeah.
Run by the mob, but
I mean,
Big 12 refs are bad.
All right, let's go to Bedlam. OU would have won the game if they called pass interference on Drake Stoops in the end zone there.
That was a missed call.
Yeah.
Was it a missed call or just saying, fuck you, we're not going to call it?
Yep.
No, they're not thinking that in the moment. No way. There's no way that in that moment they're thinking
all right. Well, you can't deny that they're not getting calls. Like, that's just a statistical fact. They're not getting calls. Now, we can argue about why they're not getting calls, but there does exist in the realm of possibility that these are human beings that are looking at these two teams and saying, fuck you. And they know they're not going to be punished for it in any way.
Here's the thing about a fishy. I've seen this recirculated many times, especially after the Cowboys-Eagles games on Sunday. That was awful. Don't put yourself in the position to let the refs affect the outcome.
No. I'm not saying that they're losing games because of it. I'm simply saying, why aren't they getting calls? God damn it, I'm echoing again. What the fuck?
Probably the refs. It's making you echo.
The damn refs are back in the pod.
Thanks, Brett Mark.
Texas and Oklahoma can boohoo and cry all they want. Don't give a shit. They're not getting calls. Sorry, boohoo. You're leaving anyway.
If the refs are biased against them, I say good, and I hope it keeps up. I hope our offensive line holds every chance they get. I hope our secondary commits pass interference every play and dare the refs to call it.
Can't agree more. Let's hope that's the case on Saturday.
All right. Around the Big 12, the next thing I had on my list, we should go back and listen to when we were talking about Mike Gundy getting fired, because turns out the man is a god, and Oklahoma State is going to the Big 12 championship game.
It's the most Gundy thing ever.
How do you lose to South Alabama?
You can't kill the OSU Cowboy. I don't understand.
I will never doubt Mike Gundy again.
I had them so down and out, dude.
How could you not?
Is Gundy on his Gary Patterson run?
Dude, it's a miracle what they've done. I don't think it's getting enough press, even after they beat OU.
Why can't we do that?
Freaking miracle!
God damn it!
Well, because we didn't find a Heisman running back stashed away in our depth chart. Like this Ollie guy is a freak of nature. Was he just not playing when they were losing?
No, he only had like 17 carries the first 4 games of the year.
That's unbelievable. Was he hurt?
Nope.
No.
South Lake.
That might be it.
Maybe
they don't figure it out until halfway through the season. You're like, oh, this guy's pretty good.
Yeah, it does seem like. You remember the year Mike Gundy lost to like Central Michigan or whatever? It seems like
every year.
It seems like it takes a few games to figure out what kind of team he has and says, all right, this is what we do well. We're going to not do what we don't do well. And we're just going to stick with what we do well. And we're going to win 10 games.
Oklahoma State basketball does the same shit because they lost to ACU last night. And then they figure it out during
I think they'll still be bad.
They beat at the beginning of the season, they had like 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah. Now they're sticking with Bowman.
Okay, so they picked one?
Yeah, they did. They were quarterback by committee for a hot minute, though. That clearly wasn't working.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure we talked about that because, my God.
As Joey
Go Pokes.
purge Big 12 championship tickets yet?
So going to that, like, as we stand now, it looks like the overwhelming favorites to make the Big 12 championship game is Texas and Oklahoma State.
What if Texas has 2 losses because the Horned Frogs knock them off? Then what?
I'm going to show you something. That will definitely knock them out of the playoff, which would be amazing.
Please.
That'll be hilarious, man.
How much
the poll early week?
That would bring me so much joy.
How much would of your personal money would you pay for that to happen?
So funny. But I want them to be so close that they're on the selection show, and then they don't.
Pay a lot. I would pay a lot of money.
Guys,
weekend.
focus. Seriously.
Focus on Ray breaking up. Jesus Christ.
Ray, would you?
Would I rather what, Ray?
He's frozen.
Would you?
God damn it!
Just kick Ray out.
Rather, I'm going to try to figure out what Ray wants to talk about.
Type it in the chat, Ray.
Would you rather OSU win?
Ray just dropped out.
Or
all right, what are we looking at here?
All right, so K4 does this chart where he goes through each matchup of the coming week and saying, all right, win or lose, how does that affect your probability of going to the Big 12 championship game? So you can see Oklahoma State and Texas right now are clear favorites, but if they were to lose, Texas would still be a favorite to make the game, and Oklahoma State would still be in decent shape. But if they win, it's almost like
guaranteed. Yeah.
So
if Texas loses, they're still 47%. That's crazy.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with tiebreakers and remaining schedule and things like that. But yeah, my dream I really wanted like Iowa State and Oklahoma State.
West Virginia.
Yeah, West Virginia can get back in it, but they
West
have
Virginia and Oklahoma State. Let's go. Is that possible?
Dude, that would be unbelievable.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that'd be great. I don't even know if that's mathematically.
I might buy a ticket just to support both of them.
Absolutely. I would definitely go to that game. Yeah.
House divided.
Make the split jersey. Wear it to Arlington.
Go Big 12. Go.
You need the generic Rob Lowe hat. The Big 12 hat.
But yeah, we can knock Texas out of the playoff. That's for sure. So,
that would be worth it. That would taste very, very sweet, just to keep them out of the playoff.
All right. I don't really have a good
I'm back in
segue.
that.
Yeah, you sound better, at least for now.
Y'all want my question now?
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
Rather what, right?
We just finished TCU volleyball, but go for it.
Oh, my goodness, of course. Man, rough stretch for our Lady Frogs.
What's your question?
Okay.
Would it be more funny for TCU to beat Texas and then they get left out of the playoff, or a one-loss Texas team getting left out of the playoff entirely?
TCU wins.
I
Give me
think
that dub, baby. I just want the dub. I want to hold that over their stupid little heads for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely.
But if they lose,
But what's more funny?
TCU winning.
TCU winning would be pretty funny.
I mean, I'm not going to
TCU
laugh
winning
if
would
Texas beats us.
I got to go with TCU.
So you want Texas to win just so they can possibly get left out of the playoff?
I'm just proposing which one is funnier. I have no opinion on the matter.
a one-loss Texas getting left out of the playoff would be hilarious.
Would be pretty funny.
Well,
it won't happen.
Say,
I
like,
don't
say
think it'll happen.
They finished in fifth. They put them fifth.
all right. Well, I'll tell you one thing that's not funny, and that's Hell's Half Acre Stadium Goods. Our good partners for the podcast, Steven over at Hell's Half Acre Stadium Goods. I always love to do these podcasts and go to the website and look at the new arrivals. Looks like we got this new rope hat.
I love it. I love that.
This is so sweet.
That patch on there is sick.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tweet this one out when we post AMK. When you post the pod tweet, can you add a picture to this?
I love the fact that it has a purple rope too, because a lot of they do white hats with the white rope, but you can't see it. I love this hat.
Oh yeah, you got to have the off-color rope. That's great. They also have this one too, if you like gray. That's pretty cool. Let's see what else they have. Hey, you could hang this up in your man cave. It's a pennant claiming the 1938 national championship.
No.
Oh yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So go to hellshalfacresg.com. Check out the new arrivals. Grab something. Also, always before the tailgate this week, go pick up some Hell's Half Lager. So a portion of that can go to the NIL fund.
Yep.
And we can bring in some players to win 10 games next year.
Some big old corn-fed linemen straight to Fort Worth.
Yeah, we need them. So go drink Hell's Half Lager. All right. So I think that pretty much does it for football. Did you guys want to hit on basketball real quick before we wrap up?
We should talk about the TCU
baseball schedule. Baseball. Duh. Yeah. Baseball. Let's talk baseball.
Hey, basketball real quick. 1-0. Moving on.
Yeah.
Baseball.
Women's basketball 1-0, dude.
Moving on.
1-0.
Moving
baseball.
on. So what'd you guys think about the schedule? What it got released a couple days ago?
I think we knew this, but I love UCLA coming to town.
Mm-hmm.
I hate we're not playing A&M in Arlington.
Mm-hmm.
That's off the top of my head.
I thought we were moving to the Pac-12 based on the schedule, but that was just initial reaction. So.
Yeah, that's a lot. What's that, like 5 or 6 games in a row against Pac-12 opponent? Or it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in a row.
God,
that's crazy.
Yeah, 8. That's nutty.
How about playing
So
Baylor?
Frogs start off with a series at home against Florida Gulf Coast. Martin, what do we know about FGCU?
Home of Chris
pretty
Sale.
much. I mean, they're usually pretty good. That's where Chris Sale went to college. They're usually pretty good at baseball. I mean, most schools in Florida are pretty good at baseball. They got a lot of talent. Last year, FGCU was one of the bubble teams out for the NCAA tournament. It was pretty strange. That ASUN conference, So Lipscomb wins it, but it was weird. Like Lipscomb had lost the game early and then came back and won it. I guess both of them made it to the championship, and it was single elimination. So that keeps them out of the postseason.
Usually we play a first weekend tournament at a a major league ballpark, but that's not happening for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I thought it was
the
odd.
Second weekend in February, which it could be cold as hell. We're hosting UCLA, which is awesome.
Yeah, we'll sweep them.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, not in the cold.
Jay Johnson will be in attendance to scout his future Tigers.
They won't be ready for the Frozen Frogs.
It's going to be a lot of like 2-1, 1-0 games. But
yeah, schedules in the past where we haven't had tournaments until Shriners.
What all teams are at Globe Life this year?
Just USC and Arizona State.
And A&M, but we already.
Oh, that's right. That was the other one.
A&M decided not to play us. So
yeah, I was wondering if y'all had any intel of why we weren't scheduled with them at all.
Well, as Kirk said, we asked Kirk about it. He said you're asking the wrong coach.
But how would that have worked out as far as USC and Arizona State? Who would they have played?
Who gives a shit? I want to play A&M.
No kidding.
That's true. I mean, nobody cares about Pac-12 baseball.
No, they're not even on TV.
Did y'all find it interesting that we have that many home weekends, like 8 versus 5 away? Is that normal?
I think it's normal just because we're not playing at tournaments this year.
Yeah,
we're not playing that many neutral sites.
So, you talked about on Twitter how the Big 12 schedule shakes out. Did you? I mean, we kind of knew we were going to be on the road at Oklahoma State, but we get Texas at home. Tech
at home.
Tech at home, yeah. So I think our only and I noted too that West Virginia and OU are really annoying teams to us, and we get them at home this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy for that.
And Kansas State.
I think the Big 12 schedule sets up pretty favorably for us. And you noted too, like the 4 newcomers, they're all going to suck. And we only play 2 of them. I think that's probably consistent for all the legacy teams. So it's. I mean, it would be nice to have easy conference games, but it's also better for RPI.
Dude, we've already got Baylor.
Yeah, we still got Baylor and Cincinnati, which they're gonna suck.
Yeah, well, we just got to make sure we win them.
We got a midweek against Baylor too.
I'm trying to go down the schedule and figure
Tuesday game versus Baylor.
I'm trying to figure out like wins, losses, as I go down the schedule, but I can't. I mean, what is this? 58-0. I don't think we have any losses on this schedule. It's crazy.
Not a one.
Yeah, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Kansas State at home. That's huge. West Virginia at home. That's huge. Baylor on the road. Who cares? Kansas on the road. Who cares? Cincinnati on the road. Who cares? Oklahoma State and Texas on the road. That's probably going to be the biggest.
We love Oklahoma State on the road because we can.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we are. I think I said we had Texas at home. I misspoke there. We have them.
Texas Tech is at home.
Texas Tech is at home. Yeah.
Which is that's basically the same schedule that we've played for like the last 10 years. We just added Cincinnati and Houston.
What'd you see from the inter squad this weekend? Any takeaways?
So
I was up there on Friday.
Oh, you went, MK?
Ray, I think we were talking over each other, but I'll start on Friday. I saw A Belt pitching on one squad. I saw, and he looked fantastic as always. I mean, neither pitcher that I watched gave up a run the entire game. And then Braden Sloan, he was wild, but he was effective. And so that was the thing that I was like, man, he hit 2 batters. He had 2 to the backstop. So I'm like, this is rough. But he didn't give up a single run. So I'm like, well, he's doing his job, you know. The batting was fine, but they did not have a lot of solid hits. There was no home runs. I saw nothing over the fence. And
fantastic pitching.
Yeah, it was great. So I don't know about Saturday or Sunday if you guys want to chime in.
Behind the plate. Dude, Zavon.
Who's behind the plate?
Carson Bone.
I think we lost you again, right?
Yeah.
Cut now, buddy.
Martin, were you out there this weekend?
I was out there Sunday. I think what he was trying to say was Carson was out there taking reps at catcher.
That's good.
He just wasn't throwing. Spoke to his dad. He said he's going to swing soon. I mean, I think the guy's coming back very quick. Was making a joke with him, said that he has that Captain America serum. So that's good. Silva didn't play. Apparently he strained his back, pulling mats.
Yeah, on that. Look, I get, everybody's an equal on the team and whatnot, but can we not have our first-round draft pick shortstop doing freshman work? I know you don't expect him to get injured doing it, but come on.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm just saying in principle. Can we give an exception to maybe Anthony Silva on the grunt work?
They probably won't, because then you just probably change the culture of the whole team if you got, guys being special.
Well, he is special. I think his teammates recognize that.
He's not supposed to act that way.
All right. Well, if I'm a good teammate, I'm out there saying, "Hey, big dog, I got this for you. You go sit down."
Yeah.
I saw a lot of guys that I had never heard of before, which was fun. Jack Arthur, Zach Wattis, Brody. I mean, we know Brody Green. He's played.
I've never heard of them before.
He played well at shortstop, but I was watching Gabe Miranda stole second base. That was fun.
If you don't know these guys, MK, you need to go back and listen to the really in-depth random podcast that Martin and Ray did.
That's the thing.
They talked for like 2 hours on guys like that.
I listened to y'all talk about him, but I hadn't seen him with my face,
Gotcha.
Hadn't seen him with my own eyes.
But
we also had on Sunday Hunter Hodges made his fall ball debut, and Storm Hairholzer.
Storm, he's back.
They look good. Fisher, was that Fisher or was that no? That was Fisher.
Yeah, Fisher that hit the home run.
Dude, he hit a bomb. It was a piss missile.
We should probably wrap this podcast up before we have any more issues. We're having production issues.
Thanks for joining us.
Echoing like crazy.
Yeah, we are echoing like nuts. This is wild.
Yeah, this podcast is over.
Shut it down.
Appreciate you joining us. Go Frogs.
Go Frogs.
Go Frogs. Beat Texas. Go Frogs.
Frogs.
Beat freaking Texas.